you very much. You're listening to some of the greatest musicians on planet Earth and planet here. John Clay on the drums. So we see on the piano. Because it's very special, it means a bunch, and you're all here to enjoy this music with us. Of course, we're playing the music of the Guaraldi trio. Now, it's very interesting to me, and hopefully you, how Vince Guaraldi came to be the composer behind not just one, but 17 piano specials total in his short but illustrious career. Unfortunately, passed away at the young age of 45 of a heart attack. But in that span of time between 1965 and 74, he's wrote 17 films for Charles Schulz. Now, the way this came to be was the original airing of a Charlie Brown Christmas in December of 1965 was sponsored by Coca-Cola. If you find an original cut before the DVD version of what we see on streaming or whatever now, there's an intro scene, and Charlie Brown slips on some ice and falls into a snowbank, which blows up to reveal the Coca-Cola logo, of course, behind the place. So Lee Mendelson, the gentleman responsible for putting all the Charlie Schulz's still life comics into moving animation for television, was a gentleman named Lee Mendelson. And Lee Mendelson, in June of 1965, was on his way to meet with Coca-Cola to talk about the upcoming special that was going to air that year. And he didn't have anybody to score the music. He was in a taxi cab in San Francisco on his way to Coca-Cola's offices on the West Coast. And on the radio came a record called Cast Your Fate to the Wind by the Vince Guaraldi Trio. Now, you think 1965, there was a lot of great pianists that could have been on the radio. It could have been Dave Brubeck, could have been Errol Garner, could have been Bill Evans, it could have been Sun Ra for that matter. That would have been a radically different Christmas special with the Sun Ra Orchestra. But the Vince Guaraldi Trio came on the radio, and Lee Mendelson was so impressed with this record that he called the radio station. And there was a DJ named Ralph Gleason, who, if anybody's a jazz nerd, the guy, Ralph Gleason was an integral part of the West Coast jazz scene in that era. He had a radio show. He read a lot of liner notes from labels like Contemporary and Pacific Records. And he even had a TV show that aired for a few years, which has some of the only film footage of some of these jazz guys from that era. And he also had rock acts on from that era, like Fanny, the all-girl rock group, who were told was trailblazers at the time. But Ralph Gleason always had his ear to the ground of what was going to be the next big thing. So he called the radio station and got Ralph Gleason on the phone and said, "Hey, that Vince Guaraldi guy that you played through Cast Your Fate to the Wind, you got his phone number?" And Ralph Gleason said, "Yeah." So I said, "Give me his number. I want to call and see if he wants to do this peanut special for us." And he called Vince Guaraldi up, and the rest of it is history. But if it had been any other pianist on the radio during that taxi cab ride, we probably wouldn't have any of this music to play for him. So we're going to play the tune that got Vince Guaraldi the gig. This is called